Okay, so bear here with if that's the case, and let's do a quick review on a Rosewill SCM-01. Let's dive in. Now, when I got this case, I wasn't even originally looking for this case. In fact, this case is not listed on PC Part Picker, and this case, I found it on Rosewill.com, which is their official website for Rosewill, and there's barely any information on this. Okay, maybe that's not right. There's tons of information on it, but there's no real, there's like no real marketing for this thing. The only thing that they really say about this case is it supports up to 140 millimeter CPU cooler. That's it. That's all it really says. So the first thing that you're really going to notice on the outside of this case here is this red line that goes across, which I think actually looks nice. I like it. So, and then the front is not really a gloss, but I mean, it looks kind of like a gloss, just with all the lines that go up and down. On the sides of that, though, this definitely is gloss. I definitely am leaving tons of fingerprints on it. Again, that's a preference thing. So, on the very top here, where the I/O sits, you got yourself a single USB 3.0, and you got two USB 2.0s, your microphone and headphone jack, of course, and a reset switch. Then up on the very front, you got yourself a single power button, of course, and then you got room for a single optical drive here. So again, the red bar down below, where you can't see right now, there looks to be like this mesh thing here. However, it's not. It's pure plastic. In fact, the air that goes in does not go from here. It goes under and through here. So that's kind of, I don't know. On the very side of the case here, you got yourself a little side vent and supports up to a single 120 millimeter fan. And thank you, Rosewill, for actually making the back of this case black. Just like the rest of the case, this blends in very nicely. Even though my I/O shield doesn't, I still like the fact that the case itself blends in with the rest of the case. That's nice. Let's go ahead and go to the inside of the case. So inside the case here, you got yourself enough room for 3 hard disk drives that you can mount. Boom, boom, boom. You can have up to 3 solid state drives. You can have one right below the 3.5 inch drives. You can have one back here, and then you can have one right here on the bottom. So, which is a nice little setup. And of course, like I said before, a single optical drive, which would go up there. So it does fit a micro ATX board in here very nicely. And then I was able to throw in a front 120 millimeter radiator, of course attached to my Corsair H60. So, not a whole lot to say here. Oh, it does include a back 80 millimeter fan. Does not include a front fan, which is no problem. If you do decide that you have enough power and juice and heat being made inside of here that you wish to go get yourself a front 120 millimeter fan, they're pretty cheap and easy to install. There wasn't really a whole lot to this. I think they did a good job with having it designed. It's roomy, it's spacious in here. There's really no room behind the motherboard for too much cable management, which is okay. Again, this is a closed case. There's no window. You're not going to see in it. I originally got this case for about 20 bucks. Right now, though, it is going for $32.35. I'm so sorry. So there's really 2 things about this case I'm not a big fan of. And the first thing that I'm not a fan of, the very top of this, your USB 2.0 ports are white. They're not black, and they don't blend in with the rest of the case. And most commonly when I see USB 2.0s, they're black and not white. So this to me was like a shocker. I was not aware that this was a thing anymore. And secondly, another thing that bothers me is the fact that this is not for breathing. There's no air going through this little part. In fact, it has to go up and under in order to go in. So I don't know how I feel as far as that affecting airflow, but I definitely am not a fan, especially when the feet for this case are not that tall. Okay, so before I wrap up the video, I just want to say that looking up information on this particular case I found very difficult. Rosewill is saying that this is the gaming SCM-01 case, and that it supports up to 140 millimeter CPU cooler. Okay, that's great. Well, what else about it? Well, it weighs 6.61 pounds, and it's this tall by that wide. Okay, you're telling me all the specs. What about its features? Why don't you tell me the features? The only features that it really notes is that it has a single USB 3.0 on the front and a side vent on the side. That was really it under features. I would have to say, Rosewill, say more about the features. Say how big of a graphics card can you put in here, because I don't know. Maybe you can say that it supports a 120 millimeter radiator in the front. Maybe you can even say why there's pre-cut holes in the back for VGA or HDMI cables. This is a really good case for being under $40 mark. You have all that space inside. I don't know why you don't advertise more just within your description of the case. Alright guys, so at this part of the video, this is probably where you click elsewhere and you go to another video that seemed more interesting at the time, because this is the end of the video. This is where I get to say things like, leave a like if you liked the video, leave a dislike if you didn't like the video. Go ahead and leave a comment below telling me your thoughts on this case or video or channel. Hey, I could not find any pictures of anyone who's ever built in this online. So if you built in this case, send me a picture. I would love to see what your case looks like with the build inside. Alright guys, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.